Here to speak with us around how to get a risk report that your clients will read, taking those bits and bytes and turning them into business conversations. Everybody should know John by now. If you don't, reach out and talk to him because he's a wonderful man. I've known him for many years. Come on up, John. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Does anybody actually like doing the get up, walk around yoga stuff? Honest question.
No.
I hate it. All right. I always feel that way when somebody gets up like, no, do it again. All right, get up and start doing Pilates. And it's kind of like, no, I don't really feel like doing that. All right, cool. So now we know. Nobody likes that. We're not going to do that either. All right. Let's see. This is not moving. Oh, I think I'm on the wrong source. I see something different here than here. All right, well, while they figure that out, we are going to talk about risk reports, but not technical risk reports. We're going to talk about how to make them not suck and how to make sure that you can deliver them in a way that they actually serve a purpose. Let's see, if I go the opposite direction. Who does not do a risk assessment in their prospecting process? 1, 2, 3. How about in your no longer Q, we have to get rid of that letter. Business reviews, I'll talk about that in a minute. I just learned this rule. In your business reviews, who does not do them in business reviews? Most people do.
Business reviews.
When you intentionally sit back down and review the state of affairs with your clients to see where they stand. No? Are you guys still working on this? I'll keep going if not, but I have no slides. I won't take that. Yes. All right. Okay. So, all right. Let me say that real quick because I just learned that quarterly business reviews. I've always cautioned against that because I have an operating background. By the way, I was a former MSP. I joined CompTIA when I was an MSP. Now I'm on the vendor side, helping build solutions and sell back to MSPs. So I will change personas a little bit, and I will always say we. I will always feel like an MSP, and I'll relate to kind of all the things we're going through. So I think about business reviews. It always bothered me as an operator because if I say quarterly, like I'm on the hook and I have a timeline now and I can't do it more or less frequently. I've just learned that that also can create a financial and legal obligation to you. And if you miss the review, you were obligated to deliver it quarterly and you've opened yourself up for lawsuits and negligence. Yeah, Mike Semmel, like no joke, I've been telling you all that for years. So, something to think about. All right, so let me jump ahead to if you deliver a report. Do you ever take a report? These things are like 25, 30 pages long. Ship them off in the mail. That's easy to do. Drop it off in email. Or actually go sit out, show it to your client. Here's your risk report. And you're finding that conversation quickly in a state of chaos. People looking back to you like, what is this? That's what we want to solve for. Because actually getting a risk report is part of the battle. There's a lot of things out there that can help you get it. And the beauty of it is you're presenting it to someone generally. There's a few things with co-managed IT where there's some specificity that's necessary down in the reports. But generally speaking, you're delivering it for a business purpose and not for the purpose of actually going and looking at page 17 and halfway down the page, etc. So when you deliver, when you deliver these reports, it's quite often that this is what you get when somebody picks this up and looks at it. And so that's what I want to talk about. It's like the report itself is not the end game. We're producing this report because we're trying to cause something to happen. And a lot of times we fall victim, we're all technical people, so I can say everyone's from technical, in delivering this content that feels good, looks right. I ran a tool, I got an output, I've accomplished this, let me go ship it off, and you end up in this conversation and just checking off boxes. So, this is the key thing I want to impart on you. I'm going to walk you through some important things to think about today. The risk report itself is not the end of the journey of this process. I see this over and over and over too much when we talk to partners that are struggling. They produce this report, they drop it off, and they don't understand why the magic's not happening. How come I'm not winning a deal? How come I'm not getting praise? Do you got anybody watch the Christmas Story movie every year? The guy that writes his thing, turn it in, and everybody's cheering, and then he gets his grade back, and it was not good. That's what this reminds me of. I talk to a lot of partners, they turn this in, they've got this thing going in their mind, it's going to be amazing when you call up on stage, thank you for this beautiful report. And you get the exact opposite report, you'll shoot your eye out. So if you think about why this happens, I'm going to outline a few of these. At the end of this, you take a picture and think about these things because it's really important. The first thing is that the people that you deliver this content to, they don't connect the current state as being a problem. So we'll come back and unpack that a little bit. But people who look at this, they don't understand, they don't feel, they cannot take this information that you've produced and do something with it. Then we find ourselves moving in a normal pattern for technical folks. We start explaining the risk report, right? I see little subtle nods coming at me like, yeah, okay, I do this. And what the idea is here is that we're technical, so we feel like, hold on, I need you to understand what you're looking at on this page. So these right here, these are all the vulnerabilities that I found in the software. So now if you'll turn to this page, so this is where we looked externally to see the ports that are open. Okay, so let me back up. So ports, you see, when we try to transmit information and you're not doing it through a secure tunnel, okay, hold on, a tunnel, how do I explain this? Right, and this is where your meeting is going. And you're leading them there without realizing it. And we're in this spiral spin, and they're starting to flip ahead like, where's the last page of this thing? I don't know what's going on. And this has gotten worse in the sense that the vendors and the tools that are available to you have gotten extremely powerful. And so the amount of information you can extract out of a network is categorically overwhelming. Like there's even stuff we look at now, like what does this even mean? I don't know. Now we have AI digging in and helping, and AI is finding stuff and pointing things out that like, I don't know, what do we do with this information? So then you start talking about this and you're creating these too many decisions, too many things to talk about. So you're moving along with people, this conversation is moving, now you've got fatigue coming in. This one, jargon, acronyms. If you're using acronyms, so think about that as a red flag. You start talking about things that you have to explain that's technical, it's not going to land. These scores, risk things, they sound really important to you. It sounds fancy. The problem is the party on the other side has no idea what you just said. And they feel stupid asking. So they're going to just nod their head and affirm, yeah, of course, I know what this was. I read about this CSS the other day. What else you got to say? The other one's going to be like, hold up, can you back up? I don't know what just happened. So jargon comes out, way too much jargon, too much technical information. And now there's like overload. It's this idea of like you have information, but you do not have knowledge. They're two completely different things. So you've created a lot more information. You've pulled all this stuff out that's data, but it's often lacking context. It's lacking the ability to translate all of this data into actual knowledge, something that I can comprehend and do something with. And therefore, I have no sense of value. I don't understand what to do with this. Like I have lots of information, lots of facts, lots of figures, but I don't have a sense of value. What's going on? Oh, sorry. Oh, I can't read it on data. So if you think about these things when you're about to go into a conversation, you want to frame these up and make sure that you're addressing all of these. And so this is the conflict that we can solve.
You go back again.
Yeah, absolutely. I have another one later, so I'll make sure to pause and tell you where you can cheat and get out your phones. Okay. So the problem is that all this is happening. You've got a seat at the table somehow. Now you've presented this report, and you've got this like paralysis. You're talking to people. Why aren't you connecting with me? How come this isn't an issue? Because the risk is huge. So we look back at the risk around these things. This one kind of struck me. 47% of small businesses have been hit by some sort of breach of some kind. There's all kind of stats like this. So the immediate thing I think about, again, kind of numbers guys, I'm like, well, so 53% actually are going to be hit, or they've been hit and they don't know it yet. Kind of crazy, right? Because you hear everybody say, like, it's not avoidable, it's going to happen. This is also nuts to me. 67% of people who had a security breach or had some kind of activity have another one. Not just because the same people never got out of the network, but like it just happens again. The same process happens. So you have to ask yourself, like, why? What's actually going on, right? Because if you talk to a business person, no one in their right mind would say, like, yeah, that's fine, I got hit, whatever. I'm just gonna roll with it and see if I get hit again. You know, it's just part of it. They would prefer not to. So there's some kind of failure here. And most of them will actually listen to you for a minute and talk to you and try to see what's going on. And we use this tool to produce a risk report. And we're getting it done. All right, so this is fun. Let's learn a new big word today. There is a default behavior. I didn't realize this. So we gave another presentation about setting goals and moving forward. We all have a scary condition called metaphysiophobia. I'm sorry, I'm diagnosing you all right now. It's a dire situation. Does anybody know what this word means? Besides our marketing team? Yeah, no, very close. Yeah, meta, change. Physio is a position. And phobia. A fear of change, a fear of changing your position, literally speaking, goes back to a super old word, but it's a fear of change. And the funny thing is, humans are hardwired this way. It's you sit at the same place in the lunchroom when you go in, or if you don't, it's actually because you fear that, like, I have to constantly be meeting someone else. I'm not changing, I'm always gonna be doing that. I'm actually finding myself insecure if I don't do that. It's still a common thing. So humans don't move without some reason to move and like to stay and sit in their current position. And so this is this paradox that we have human nature on the other side that's in a position. They are not secure, they're running their business, they don't understand. They're parked in this position and they're not moving. Okay, got that, that's a fact. All right, they talk to you because they're aware there's some risk, there's some opportunity, there was some sort of activity that caused them to think about something going wrong. And they're talking to you and you have all this data. This is what we have to connect together. Because when we get fear of change, we get a cute duck picture. But I want you to think about this. Your clients are sitting ducks. They're sitting ducks. They're literally sitting, waiting for the day when something terrible happens. And this aggravates me to death because some of this stuff is very complicated and people sophisticatedly back in and do crazy things. You guys remember doing this for a long time? We used to clean up malware off of machines. Yeah? That's what life used to be like. God, this machine is infected again. I've got to go in and clean out all the registry keys. What's happening? They're getting ads all day. It can't work because it's just ads. Like that was the day. Now it's like, okay, what happened? Well, the entire company is being held ransom. We have hijacked all the financial information, and literally I feel like I'm in a movie. If you don't pay me this amount of money, I'm going to let all this stuff out. You're going to be screwed. I'm going to just dump all of your data out in the world, all your client files. What say you? Right? It's awful. And there's the newer thing. Have you guys seen this one yet? These folks are so tactical about how to do this. You now have a choice. You can pay the ransom or you can go infect 3 other people. Oh. Absolutely. So yeah, so they're like, if you forward this over, and we have, just like you do to refer a friend. So you can refer a friend with an accidental link, and if they get infected with ransomware, your stuff will be let go, and they'll just move on to 3 new people. Unbelievable business minds here doing terrible things. And so this is what's happening, right? And that's the problem, is that a lot of people haven't connected to reality, and that's the worst thing that can happen to you is actually horrible. It's actually really, really bad. And then another thing you'll hear frequently is, well, it's not going to happen to me. Why would somebody do that? Well, they actually don't care, right? It's like dragging a big net through the ocean and hoping they caught the turtle. Like, I don't like dragging a net, trying to catch whatever gets in this net and then throw stuff back later. That's literally the world today. Nobody's like, oh, let me go pick on Sally's attorney. Like, I'm going to brute force my way through this edge firewall. Like, that's not what happens anymore. It's this big drag net of who's going to accidentally click the wrong thing or do something stupid. So what we have to do is figure out, we've got to move. And this is so hard, we literally are professional movers. If you think about this, I spend a lot of time talking to our partners about how to sell, how to position, how to move. The biggest problem we have is trying to convince someone on the other side of the table to do something else. Spend more money, move over to managed services, expand their current spend, because you guys don't have enough space to move. We have to figure out how to connect and get back and drive change. All right, so let's walk through a few things to think about, and I'll summarize these at the end. So if you want to write them as you go, that's fine, but at the end I'll give you a little summary slide here. Problem number one when you put these things together, you're not presenting to yourself. So you guys and gals look at these reports and you see the information that's been put together and you're like, yeah, this is good. Right? This is cool. Look at all the information. This is a long list. This is really scary. You flip through here. Okay, cool. I've got the dark web stuff in here. That's good. What's it about in here? All right, cool. I'm ready to go. This is the problem. You're not going to be presenting to yourself. You're going to be presenting to someone else. So it's extremely important to do this. This is a critical part of your risk assessment is how do I deliver it? Who am I talking to? Actually stop and think about this. And these questions are worth thinking about. When you have this ready to go, what am I trying to accomplish with this report? Who am I speaking to? Why are they listening to me? And what am I going to deliver to them that is going to cause them to do what I need them to do? I need them, if it's a business review, not a QBR, just a BR or an SBR, strategic business review. When we have these business reviews, how am I going to get them to do something else? So what is their role? What does success look like for them? If you're talking to a CFO, are they trying to reduce risk, or do they have someone clubbing them over the head and they have to meet some compliance framework? If you're talking to an internal IT director, are you co-managing? And I've got to kind of walk a line here. We'll get into that in a minute. Or is this a small business and you're talking to the chief cook and bottle washer that does everything in the business? All this matters. And so you have to figure out what matters to them, why do they care, what are the metrics that matter to them about their business. Facts are facts. When you go pull the information out of your network, the data is what the data is. The problem we have is that this data is not the same to everybody that reads it. So remember that. Just because you have the facts, that is not actually what matters here. You need to take the information that you find in those facts and quantify it into something that they can understand. So think about this. It's just like different languages. You've got a risk report. The risk report is written in Spanish. Actually, it's probably more like Latin. And you've got to figure out, all right, I'm taking this to someone who reads, writes, and understands Spanish, and this whole thing is Latin. You've got to think like that. So if you think about how do I quantify this? How do I make this real? How do I get this into something that if you don't do this, what happens? What does it mean? So think about that when you figure out who your audience is. What are they trying to do? And now we need to establish credibility. This is unbelievably left out in this process. I see so many partners that take these reviews, they do some of these pieces in part. Here's a 38-page report. Look at all this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's real bad. Look at all those things that happened to you. Business is going to die. Sorry to tell you. Any questions for me? Over and over. And you're like, yeah, I just lay down the law. This is so important. You have got to now move to the step that, but don't worry. This can be fixed. This can be solved. I'm so glad you called me. Literally use that phrase if you want to. But don't forget this, is how do I move this to establish credibility? So, the end, I can do this. I got you. I'm glad we found all this. We caught it early. Whatever works for you, get that point across. So let's break this down. I want to share why I say facts are facts. So let's say we have a risk report. We've run a risk report. It's come back. Like all of them, they're terrible. Does anybody run a risk report on a prospective client? They're like, dang, what am I going to do with this? Right, it's a beautiful thing. It's always bad. That's right. It's like go to the doctor. Something's wrong with you. Somewhere, somehow, something's wrong. Right? If you go to the letter of what's supposed to be, we're all too fat, we're too skinny, we ate too much last night, something's wrong. Every time. So that's not the actual issue. Otherwise, why would we go to a doctor? Just go to a lab, get your blood results, and like move on with life. Like, I don't know what to do with all this stuff. I'm not sure what that means. And more than that, it's not binary. How bad is it? right? Because I kind of like eating waffles every now and then. Can I be a little bit, is this okay? Can I be in this area? I'm not trying to be in the Olympics. So we have the same thing here. So we think about positioning examples. All right, so I've got a risk report. It's got some stats. This is made up. But I go in, I find the information, and I'm going to present this to, who's the first one we're going to present this to? Let's see. Okay, the CEO. So we're going to present this one to a business owner that's come in and asked us, they want to learn about our services, or maybe we push for prospecting. And I've gone in and I've said, okay, you've got a risk score of 70, there's 10 vulnerabilities that are wide open, there's big financial risk. Maybe in 10 categories, let's say 5 categories are pretty good and 5 are bad, okay? That's the facts. Facts are the facts. But I'm talking to a business owner who's using another MSP, and somehow I have a seat at the table. So how do I present this information? This is bad. This is so bad. This is terrible. Oh my God. I don't even know where to start with this report. Let's just set that aside for a minute. You are in trouble. This isn't good. So there are 10 categories, you fail half of them. Unbelievable. 10 vulnerabilities, absurd. Oh my goodness. And you just, this is terrible. I've got to make sure to show you this because I cannot believe you're actually paying a company to do this. Right? It's that direction. That direction. Whatever you're comfortable doing, however you're moving, I'm into like, this is bad. Because it is. You go get some of these security people, and Mike and Chris and others, like, yeah, man, this is way bad. No, you can't have vulnerabilities. Sorry. This is like the doctor. No, you can't ever have a Big Mac. No. That's this version of the story. Okay? So we're talking to a CEO. We want to talk about, you have to have seamless IT, you have to have resiliency across the network. All of this has to be fixed. This is totally unacceptable. This has to be solved. Because remember, we ran this risk assessment and we understand how we're deploying tools to address this risk assessment. We already have the information. As soon as you win the business, you're going to go down this thing on the checklist. So we're going to present it. Really, really terrible situation. Thank God I'm here. All right. Same report. Same report. Different customer. Let's shift. This is a organization that I'm trying to win, and I'm dealing with Jill, and Jill is alone, by herself, running the IT department, looking to see if she should enter into co-managed IT. And she gets to decide. She's got the budget. Is she going to hire Bob, or is she going to spend it on your managed services company? I don't know how you're accomplishing this by yourself. I mean, 5 out of 10 categories are covered really well. You're doing a good job. Same data, right? It's not a lie, it's different. Like, I'm going to work with you. We have a couple of areas that need attention. There's a few categories that we can help you with. You're doing these things well. See, I'm not lying, but when I'm trying to take another MSP out, I'm not bringing up anything they're doing well. Even if they're doing it well, that's on them to point that out. It's not my deal. But now, same information, I'm moving over to someone that's in IT. So this is an example of where when it's co-managed and they have culpability and they are looking for help, this has to be presented differently. And the majority of the time, this is skipped. The information is presented in the same way, or it's delivered quick and it's shot over by email, and it's not changed. So if you're not thinking about who I'm delivering this to, and you're not creating a summary with goals and outputs and actually putting your thought to it, right? Think about you go to the doctor and you do all these tests, lab results, whatever else. What do you get at the end on the way out? Blood pressure's going high, see the things, take these 2 pills, come back and get these. Right? And isn't that the thing we read? That's the first thing we go read. I'm going to go check all the other stuff, but like I need to know. Like, do I need to update my will, or like take some pills?
Yes.
I need to read that fast. Let's get there, man. Quit telling me about all the things you got. Like, cut to the chase. So I would say you guys need to do the same thing. I'm going to show you how to do that. But you want to make sure that you have summed this up for the audience. You guys also run, when you go to professionals like this, you go to CPAs or whatever, most people in this room, you guys all like data oriented. You want the facts, you want the detail. Or we type A, type B, type people. So I figured this out. I had to go get an eye exam recently, and like it was like, okay, sir, here, sounds good. All right, come over here, sounds good. And I was like, all right, hold on a minute. What is that thing? And he said, oh, you're one of those guys. He's like, I got you. So scoot back here. All right, so this thing, so we have to check the pressure of your eye. So it's really important that we do these things. And I'm like, okay. And that struck me, knowing that I was going to come here. It's like, that I actually went and wrote a positive review about this man, like totally pivoted his pitch. And then he slowed down. Now we're going to do this other thing. So you think you're going to be tracking this little balloon. What we're actually doing, and he's walking me through all the stuff. And I'm never leaving this place. This is the first time I've gone to this because I'd left another place. I'm going back now forever. I don't even know if what he's telling me is right. I'm gonna look it up later, but like, man, I feel really good right now. I'm gonna stick my eyeball in this thing and hope for the best. You guys have the same thing happening. You are the expert, but you gotta know, who am I talking to? Like, do they wanna know this stuff? And unfortunately, a lot of us are technical, and we walk in and we start technical conversations without being conscious of who we're talking to. And now we're off the rails, because remember, the first part of the thing we talked about, I'm delivering this risk assessment not because that is the end of the process, because I'm trying to cause something to happen. Write it down if you have to. Check it while you're in the meeting. Am I pursuing this goal? Am I causing them to understand the things that I shared on the prior screens, which are, I'll show you in a second, I'll summarize them, are coming down and making sure that I'm driving an outcome that I want. So now I've said this, I need to educate. Do not explain. We need a new word. Y'all know the mansplaining word? And now this is like the whole thing, right? We can't say mansplaining. I didn't say anything as long as I say we're not allowed to say it. We need like a text-plaining word or something. We should like make this a thing. Do y'all know? I mean, seriously, right? This is a thing. It's like the technical word, do you mind a technical word for this? Pontificating. Don't know that word? Use that word. It's a good word. It's a really good word. I'm starting to pontificate right now. Some of you are going to get on those slides. Pontificating, I've got a point, I'm standing here and I'm talking. And I'm just talking and I'm just explaining to you how things are, whether you need to be explained to or not. So this happens a lot, and you need to think, I need to avoid this. I need to be informative and educating and passive. I've got to transfer knowledge. I've got to instill confidence. So another rule for yourself. Don't pontificate. Don't text-plain. Make sure that you're educating enough to allow them to connect the data to the outcome that you're trying to drive. All right, so we also want to talk about examples around here. You want to move some sort of risk to a real outcome. This is what I mean by educating. Telling somebody like, oh, look, I scanned your information on the dark web and I found passwords. I'm a business owner, I don't know what that means. I didn't even know it was a dark web. What's the not dark web? Like, what does this mean to me? And so you found credentials, like what? I don't understand. And then we move into explaining that. What we need to do is move quickly to why this matters, is that you think you have a password that's secure, but it has already been found. Oh, they got it on my network. No, they probably even didn't. They got somebody else's network somewhere. But the reality of it is, if someone can log in as you, you're at a minimum of X amount of dollars in fines. Then there's math to calculate this. I'll show you a little bit of that. But you want to talk about the bottom part of this. Because you have credentials that are exposed and someone has access to that information, this is what it means to you. And what we don't want to do is stop with the fact. Found your stuff in the dark web. Boom. Turn to the next page. Right? I didn't land a point. I did not explain what that means. It did not translate this into something that you can actually understand. All right. So what does that mean? I keep saying translate it. We've got to translate it to the most common language that everybody understands. Pro tip, it's not English. Money. Everybody speaks money. You like it, you hate it, it doesn't matter. Everybody speaks money. Right? You might even call it different things. It's still money. And we all speak it. So if you think about in this risk report, everything I'm talking about, how am I bridging this to money? It's either going to make you money, save you money, stop you from losing money. That is the easiest cheat code. So each piece, each thing that I'm explaining, this is its impact to your business. And it doesn't mean you have to quantify it necessarily. I'm going to show you some tactics to quantify it, but at a minimum, you need to understand this is going to cost you money, prevent you from making money, something. So I need to translate that back. I don't know who else saw the number. Let me ask. If you have, we want to translate this into some kind of understandable number. And if you've all talked to me about how to sell a position managed services, I talk about this all the time with our partners. I talk about taking our monthly costs and trying to annualize them. It's really important. So we're going to go the opposite way. When we figure out in our risk score, I want to understand what something costs. I'd like to talk about it per hour, because I want to talk about the pain that you feel every single hour that you're having a problem. Well, there's a number that you can divide by, an annual number. It's business hours. It's just generally accepted. You guys know what the number is? 2000, 2080. What's that?
1880.
1880? You in Canada? Just kidding. Yeah, 2080 is a generally accepted, I heard several people say it. 2080 is a generally accepted number. It's here on the slide. So you can figure that out and you can work backwards. But learn this number, love this number. This is a beautiful number. If you pay people, it's the same thing. If you want to figure out their hourly equivalent, or you're like, yeah, you know, I make $10 an hour. Okay, that's $20,800 a year. Boom, how did I figure that out? That's 2080, that's just how that works. So magic. So I can go figure out, I need to figure out to quantify this, I need a top number. I need to understand how much money is this organization bringing in. There's a couple of ways to do that. We can talk about revenue per employee, we can talk about downtime hours, we can figure this out by looking at what vertical are they in, what industry are they in, but I need to kind of think to some sort of common denominator. How much money does this place generate? Y'all should do that all the time. You can present managed services. I hear this all the time, like, oh, they can't afford me. I said, who can't afford it? There's only one person, and they've got one assistant, and whatever. Hey, what does this person do? They're a lawyer. They can afford you. The problem's you. You're getting beat. Let's go look at this. Like, if you call this lawyer and you ask them to talk to you for an hour, how much is this going to cost you? 50% of your managed services bill for the whole daggone month. Over and over. And somehow they got you feeling bad for them. Right? This is the same thing the other way, where I need to calculate this. So now I can figure out, all right, what is the cost per employee? What are your costs going out the door? How much revenue are you losing? I can multiply all that together. And you get some really big dollars. So you can figure out here if your annual revenue is, this is a small number, $1.2 million. Is that $2 million, $3 million, $4 million? It goes up. We got 5 employees spread around here. This costing me $115 an hour for every employee, for every second that I'm not working. So now if I have 5 days, 8 hours, this is just common denominator stuff I can do. I can start to calculate that this is revenue impact, simple math. You can change all these numbers. So I'm going to show you a way to apply some of these and make this look the way you want to look. But this, I understand. It's like, hey, so we're going to talk about this risk assessment. Here's the probability that some of this stuff can happen. But your risk exposure is $23,000 for this thing, $400 an hour if you happen to get ransomware. That's the clock. Start. We're billing you more than you bill your customers now. It's a problem. So we got to get some common denominator around here. All right, the second thing we've got to do when we present this information is keep it simple and present it in a way that I can understand good and bad. There are 2 easy ways to do that. 1 is colors, and 2 is grade school. We've all been scarred for life. A, B, C, D, F. So when you talk about anything other than that simple format, people can't get their minds around it. So am I scoring an A in this category? Am I a C in this category? And here's the beautiful thing. Some of you right now are like, I don't know if it's a B or C. Guess what? We get to get revenge on the world. We are the teachers now. We get to read this report that is virtually turned down their half. 16 pages of stuff. And now we get to go back and exact our revenge on our school years. B. B. Why? Because I'm a managed services expert, and this is my opinion. But in all seriousness, as you go down by category, you will find there are guidelines, there are experts that can tell you where these things are. But also this is your assessment and opinion of what they do for a living and what risk you found. How bad off is this? But I'm trying to get to common denominators. So I have money, that's the most common thing everybody understands. Now I have grades that are simple, and now I can put this together and focus on the actual impact, not the thing. This is going to cause you to be down. This is how people can get social engineering deployed upon them, how they can be exploited. This is how you can lose data, etc. And then also, get some tactical, immediate wins. I think this is a good thing. This is more of an opinionated thing. But if you show like, hey, there's all these things, some of them are more complicated, some of them are not. But here's a couple things we can do fairly quickly. As soon as you start services with us, or if this is in one of your business reviews, as soon as you upgrade to our new plan, upgrade to our more comprehensive security, we can reduce this risk by X amount of dollars. So if you associate it back to that as well, that helps. There's some immediate impact. And then you give yourself space by saying, but some of this is going to take some time and it's going to take some cycles. We're going to have to embed some habits and make some changes, which is why I need this to be an ongoing managed services plan. But also, the minute we start, I can knock some of this down. So I can give you a quick path and a quick plan. Generally speaking, FUD is your friend. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. You'll know this acronym. It's a good one. But like any strength, it can be a weakness. Don't overdo it. Because if you overdo it, you now sound like Chicken Little screaming about the clouds in the sky and nobody's paying attention to you. So when you think about FUD, you do want to have some fear, some uncertainty, some doubt. I am fearful of this. This could happen to you. Uncertainty, like I don't know when it'll happen or exactly how it'll happen. Like I don't know. Like as you build these things out, you can use them to frame the conversation, but don't overdo it. Because fear is actually a bad reason for someone to enter into business with you. You fear to enter in the conversation, start the discussion, and then set yourself up, like we said just a second ago, be the hero, but I got this. So okay, we're gonna solve this, here's the plan. That's how those two things go together. If you use too much of this scaring stuff and leave it there, it's worse. Now think about how you feel, same thing. So this happens a lot. Now I've got this lots of fear, lots of uncertainty, lots of doubt in the situation and I can't resolve it. So be careful not to ever do that. The other thing is you want to use Q, as of this morning is gone. No more Q, everybody. Quarterly, no. They're business reviews or strategic business reviews, like that. So if you think about that now, you want to do this on an ongoing basis, not only because we do have work to do, we do need to make sure that everyone stays secure, everyone is addressing the risks that come up, but what do we do for a living? We sell managed services, generally speaking. We want to keep an ongoing relationship. The tough part about what we do for a living is the better we do, what? Less they hear from us. If you're doing an amazing job for your client, it's a strong paradox. If you're doing an amazing job for your client, they never see you, they never hear from you, you don't go on site, you don't talk to them, and ideally they don't even have any problems. What's happening though, you've got scripts and automation running in the background, and you've got posture checks running on your network, and all this amazing stuff happening in the background, and they're just cruising along, everything's good. So you've got to go back and demonstrate what's happening, because you're doing a pile of work and you're not getting credit for it. So we want to make sure to make these matter in a way that I can go deliver them back to the audience, whoever my decision maker is paying me. I want to make sure to get this stuff back. I want to put snapshots in time, demonstrate what's going on, and stay in front of it. The other reason this is important is, we talked about this at the beginning, how many of you are using these reviews to get new clients. It's also happening to you. Like, realize that, think about that. So a lot of this is like, well, I have a client already, they're already paying me. Let me go out and run some quarterly reviews. Somebody is quarterly reviewing your existing clients if you're not. So you want to do that, stay, because that's your best defense. Again, how to effectively use this review? If they are talking to someone else, or someone comes in and offers something free and they check it, and you're like, yeah, you have this problem. Yeah, I know, I'm worried, yeah, we've already talked about it. What else is in there? That's what you want. So you want to make sure this is built in. All right, so let's see. We want to make sure that we present this in information that people can use too. So you want an action plan, and you want to show, look, this is what we found. This is the direction. Don't give away the secret sauce. Don't mention a vendor tool in here. Just talk about like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's the translation to what might happen to you. Here's kind of 30-day things that we're going to do. We're going to start moving forward and looking at it. We also want to talk about renewal and upsell moments. So there's some frameworks here that you can use to make sure, okay, these are the signals that I'm seeing. This is the information that helps you frame this and understand how this translates in your business. And here's the next steps we want to do. You can use whatever format you want, but generally make sure that you're bridging over from What did we find? What does it mean to you? And what are we going to do about it? However you want to structure it, those are the things that you do. What did I find out? What does it mean to you? What are we going to do about it? Okay? And then put it into your workflow. Constantly do this. Make sure this is going on again and again. Make this a habit. Even if there's not much to show, great. That's the point. Let's go back and look at it. So let's review. Let's talk about it. Think about that as like an ongoing doctor's visit, a checkup, etc. Don't neglect that though. Keep this going on an ongoing basis. All right, so let's see, a few things we can do here. You want to, we'll kind of all know this. You can unlock renewals, you get client trust. Let me get to some of those things to talk about. All right. What's that? Nope. All right, so this is the kind of workflow framework that we want to think about. And this is not, I ran a report, I'm good, let me deliver. I need to go collect all the information, let me go get the facts, let me get the data. I'm in that stage, stay focused, get it done. Collect all the things that you need, get ready. Now we want to curate this. I want to put this together. And curating doesn't mean like staple it all together to see how many pages you get. I need to actually put this together, but I need to get this into some kind of one-page snapshot at the top, just like the doctor's note on the way out. Take 2 of these, come back in 8 weeks. That's what we want to deliver. Not to oversimplify, but you need that version of it. Like we need to implement new solutions to better protect your endpoints. Our advanced security package will take care of this. Map it to your stuff. You don't want to like brush it off, but you also don't want to leave it so wide open that you're hoping that they're going to say, wow, this is such a big scary report, I must need to pay this person a whole bunch of money to make this go away. That doesn't work, right? I've got to put it together. So I need to curate that. And then I need to convert this information that I have collected and I've curated so I can explain it to you. I have to convert this into something that you will understand. Who's the audience? What do we speak? Translate it to money, translate it to some common denominator. And now I need to work on communicating this. Practice, plan. How am I going to get this across? What am I going to say? All right, so here's a little overview of the details we walked in earlier. Remember that you're not presenting this to yourself. This sounds obvious, it's not. You have to remind yourself, I'm not my audience. I'm not the one reading it, I don't understand this. Show it to a business partner, show it to your spouse. Does this make sense to you? That's a great trick. What do you think of this? I don't know. Great, that's what your client thought and they didn't tell you. If you can't show it to somebody like that and see that reaction, you should do that every once in a while. Go talk to someone. Hey, let me just ask you. Go to the dentist. You're friends with your dentist. Hey, look at this. You're not a client. I'm not trying to sell you anything. But kind of am. I don't think this is report. I just want to get your quick reaction. Like, this is not your network, of course, and we can do this for your network. But what's your reaction to this information? Like, I presented this and I redacted it. Like, get a sanity check. Practice. Figure that stuff out. And then present a solution. All right, so quick thing there. Of course, why do we know about this? We do this for a living. We spend a lot of time. Our chief product officer is here. I saw him walking around. You're going to hear him in a second as well. Everything I've shared with you are best practices, things to learn. That's a do-it-yourself process. If you're a little bit lazy, this is sort of like the Ozempic kind of thing from working out, I guess. There is a do-it-for-me path. Yes, we provide it to you. If you're interested in looking at this, please let me know. We group all this together for you. Same stuff, same things on the back end. These are actual reports. This is what it looks like. If you use our tool and our scanning solution, I'm going to give you a QR code. You can have it free and scan everything you want for 30 days. Yes, you can game it. Go scan all your clients in 30 days, knock yourself out. We just want you to use it and try it. But we pull it all together. We show you a view of where all the risks are. This is an example of what you can do on your own. You can produce this in Excel if you want to do this yourself. If not, this is what this looks like. Letter grades, show you how it works. We actually even help you calculate this. We have database in the backside so you can choose what's the vertical that I'm presenting this into, what's the approximate range of employees. We'll guess and be pretty close. We can show you that, and then we'll automatically translate all that cost back for you to each key category. And then we calculate this, summarize this, show you this impact back to the business. We've also just released an AI component of this so that we help you get to the one-pager. You can ask questions, interact, summarize the information, pull it all together and compile it to make it super easy. Then we show you the information so that you can easily say, this is what we found, here's some quick wins. Here's the scan if you guys want access to this. You can come out and see it at the booth. This gives you, is it 30? Yeah, pretty much. 30 days free, and there's no obligation after that. Hopefully each day you like it. It's not a trick. We don't sell contracts, commitments on any of our services whatsoever. Happy for you to use them. So I'm in the last 30 seconds. I will hang for questions in the room. We have a little break, I think. And then also, there's our CPO, Rob in the back. So Rob's had a product, super smart security guy too. Grab him while you can. He flew in town to hang out here and give a presentation. So he's coming up a little bit. We're going to talk about compliance, so you can hang around. Listen to Rob as well. I'll stay around for questions, and then both of us will be happy to help you. If there's anything we can do, let us know. Miles, I think I'm giving you back this agenda. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
All right, yes, 11:15, we'll be right back here for compliance decoding concerning risky revenue. And please